Hello everyone, and welcome to a new Let's Play series, Factorio, as you can see. The recording software is still not 100% on this game. Let's hope it works. I'm not going to start a new game, I'm going to load a save file, but don't worry, you haven't missed anything. I'm just kind of particular about the starting location I want. So I've now got one that's okay. I guess it's not perfect, but should be playable. But yeah, I'll just very quickly. Don't worry about this. I have used these settings to create the map. Low frequency for all the ore types. The sizes are all big, and the richness is all very good. This is because I will be building a base centered around trains, and for that I find it convenient if the resource patches are far apart, but nice and juicy. Okay, and these are the settings with which I have created a map. This one, to be precise. It's not perfect, but it will do. Okay, so the first thing I'll do is I will create an iron axe. Otherwise I would have to chop down these trees by hand, and if any of you have ever chopped down a tree using your bare hands, it's a bit of effort. So the first thing I will do is put down this burner mining drill, which consumes fuel and mines whatever it's standing on. And it's standing on coal, so right now it's consuming the wood that I gave it as fuel and turning it into coal, basically, because it's on a coal patch. And we'll just let this run. Wood has a pretty bad fuel value, so it'll be done with this amount of fuel quite quickly. Yeah, the game is not very famous, so you might not know it. You might. I really don't know. They did recently pass 1 million sold copies, so it's not that obscure either. It's quite fun, and you will see. You will see what it's all about as I continue playing. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to take this burner mining drill and I will run down to my iron patch, which is here. These are just my initial patches. What I was looking for in my starting location, by the way, is I wanted a decent sized copper, iron and coal patch. Each of these have about 1 million, the iron's a little bit bigger. There's a bunch of other copper patches around, but there's also more iron eventually, don't worry about that. We'll find all the ores eventually, and the map, the base will become quite big regardless, so it doesn't matter that there's no iron like really close except for this one. That's just fine. There needed to be water nearby, and I didn't want it to be completely forested. This is still a little more forest than I'm comfortable with, but I reloaded the map about 10 times and couldn't find anything better, so I'm just rolling with this. I found one that was really nice, except it did not have enough copper. It had one copper patch that was maybe 300,000. Wow. And that was it, and that's not enough. Okay, so there were some flickering issues with the game before. Not sure if these persist, and I will put half the coal in here. Okay, and that will basically, the miner drill will consume the wood that I gave it and mine out the iron ore, and the furnace will use the coal I gave it to smelt the iron ore into iron plates. And now I need a little more stone. Now the goal of this game is to eventually automate all of these things. I'm currently doing stuff manually. I am literally chopping stone out of the ground to to build stuff. And I will actually need 5 more. Actually, I don't. Never mind. We're good. I'm now grabbing some of the iron plates. And making another burner mining drill. Again, this consumes fuel and mines whatever it happens to be standing on. In this case, stone. And you also get some fuel. I'm only keeping the one. Chopping down some more trees as I go along. The early game is quite slow and relaxed and kind of boring, I guess. I mean, I actually quite enjoy it, but it might not be that interesting to watch. But towards the end of this episode, I will be showing you the kind of thing that you can expect in a late game base. So this is kind of the boring beginning part that you just have to, quote-unquote, grind through. But very quickly we'll be getting to interesting stuff, and yeah, I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, you just keep making stone, that's just fine, and then we'll need one more burner mining drill. For now, let's start. Because of how repetitive the early game gets, I will most probably... Actually, just in case you didn't, or you're wondering, if I mouse over an item that's close enough to me and I hit the R button, I can rotate it. I think some stuff cannot be rotated. Some stuff can definitely only be rotated by 180 degrees. These mining drills I can rotate by 90 degrees. Okay, I'm also giving you a chest, so it outputs into the chest, and you get this 50 wood as fuel. And so this will mine coal and put it into here. That's also the first thing we'll automate eventually. That's enough stone, I think. Well, not quite automate. You'll see what I mean in just a second. You can have one more coal, and I want these. And I can now make 3 more burner mining drills, which is what I wanted. As you can see down here, this is the stuff I'm currently manually crafting. I can technically manually craft quite a lot of the items in the game, but eventually we will items will just take forever to craft, and quite quickly we will start just crafting stuff automatically as well. The automation is really a huge part of this game. And so the first little trick that I like to do is I usually go for at least 4. Eventually I'll stock this up a bit. But I like to automate my coal production, because right now I will need to occasionally come by and take the coal out of this chest and give this burner mining drill some new fuel, because otherwise it'll stop making coal. And I prefer to have this so I just come by every now and then and can grab coal. So I want the refueling to basically happen by itself. And the easiest way to do this in the early game, because I currently don't have any electricity or anything like that, which you would usually use. So the easiest way I know, and it's not something I invented, it's quite common, but this is what I do. So I'm going to rotate this burner mining drill. It will output, as you can see from the yellow arrow, into this burner mining drill, which will accept the coal as fuel. It will burn the coal as fuel to grind up more coal, which it will insert into the next one, which in turn will take the fuel burner to make more coal, which will insert into this one, and it all goes in a circle, which means they keep refueling themselves, and I can come by and just grab some coal from them, or I guess some raw wood as well, and they will just keep refueling themselves. And as long as I don't, for some weird reason, manage to get them all to a point without a fuel, which should never ever happen, it would be very unlikely, then this will basically keep just running by itself. And you can now take this, because I really don't need that much wood, and I will already need to clear out these 2 ore patches eventually. Later on I will have much better ways to get rid of wood, but right now all I can really do is sort of manually chop it down. Okay, let's go down here. You're actually still running. It's interesting, but you should almost be out of fuel here. So I'm just giving you a ton more fuel. You can take that, and I will take this. And I will make some more burner mining drills. How about 5 of those and 5 of those? That's kind of nice. And then I will put 2 of them on the copper and 3 more on the iron. It's because in the very early game you need more iron than copper. Eventually that will change, but yeah. Now, just in case you're concerned that this all seems like I'm just doing small stuff, this is just early game stuff, basically. Putting down these things manually, and having a tiny portion of the ore patches actually being mined and all that. That's just what the early game tends to look like. It will eventually become much bigger scale. So I will eventually be okay, I'll make 2 more of you. I will eventually be sort of mining whole patches, and probably 5 or 6 or 10 of these patches at a time, all completely. Okay, let's expand this. I just need to make sure that it's always in some way a complete circle. Which doesn't mean it has to actually look circular. Similarly to Minecraft, this is grid-based, so there are no real circles anyway. But I just basically need to make sure that it's a complete chain of each mining drill inserting into another and none being left out. And that just gave me a ton of coal, which I can now use to fuel some of my mining. And as I just walk by, I will sometimes chop down a tree or 2. I will need some of the wood, not the, just the. I will need some of the wood to make power poles, but quite quickly that will not be an issue anymore. Basically, a few early game researches need to be completed, and then I will be at a point where I will be using power poles that don't require wood. So eventually I'll just, instead of manually chopping down trees, I will probably just destroy forests using some kind of explosive or otherwise weaponry. And I'm grabbing this as well. The game used to have some flickering issues. These look to be better now, but let's see, they were intermittent before as well. It's was apparently an issue with the drivers. I don't know exactly if my update has fixed them. I've updated my video card drivers now. Sadly, it's AMD drivers, and apparently those are not always the best. Can't be helped, I guess. Alright, so you're all making iron. And I will need to come by from time to time and basically refuel these, but that's fine. We're only at 13 minutes. So I will quite soon need to start with an electric setup. So I will actually do that now. Do I need a ton more iron? Yeah, okay. So the first thing for an electric setup is an offshore pump. An offshore pump does not require electricity. It's just the way the game is made. It just, if they had the pump require electricity, but you require the pump to produce electricity, then you would have no way to get electricity, because it would need the pump, but the pump you get what I mean. So the pump doesn't require electricity. For some reason, it just pumps fluid out of any body of water. And these are all infinite, basically. So even if I had just this tiny lake, or even if it was just a single spot of water, I can get an infinite amount of water from it. The pump has a maximum throughput, 1,200 per second. But this lake will never empty. It's just infinite, basically. I'm hoping that I'll find more water than this, because this is a little limited, but it should be fine. Okay, I'll grab you. I will go and do another coal run. As you can see, some of them ran out of fuel for a moment, but they were basically restocked by the ones in front of them. And it should never happen that all of them run out of fuel simultaneously. That would be very unlikely. Some more copper can never hurt. Then I'll grab some more iron. And we will want, I don't know, let's say 2 of those to start with. 2 of those and 4 of those. And then I'll need some more piping. So I'll need more iron. And I'll show you just the kind of stuff that I'll do. I'll need more iron anyway for the transport belts, so that's fine. My recording overlay is still flickering a bit, but that's fine. Sometimes you might see my overlay down there in the bottom, but it should only be intermittent. I've set it to not record the overlay, but yeah, the drivers just seem to be a little problematic with OpenGL games. Sadly, there isn't really much I can do about that. At least the screen flickering appears to be gone, or at least it hasn't occurred yet. So that's nice. Should maybe make 2 more of those setups actually. There you are. And you each get one of those. And because I have it now, I can just give you each 50 coal. The more I give you, the longer you last. Okay. Let's just make all of those, I guess. But that should not be enough. I will need to take the coal from here and basically transport belt it down here to the water, because that's where I'll be setting up my power. And I will also require more iron for pipes. And right now I'm still crafting all of that stuff manually. And as I said, just randomly chopping down some trees when I find them. Okay. Now these are my upgraded miners. It's dark at night, I can't help that yet. I need to do some research before I can put down light. Again, just the way it is. I will clear out this top bit a little. Now, unlike the burner mining drills, these cover a larger area. So as you can see, each of these is 3 by 3 as a structure, but it actually mines a 5 by 5 area. Whereas the burner mining drills have a 2 by 2 area, and that's the exact area they can mine. These here are more convenient because they can mine yeah, a wider area, which means you can cover a complete ore patch with these and still have space to run the wiring and the transport belts like these. Okay, I'm just going to put that. You need to die, and you can die as well. Okay, these right now are yelling or flashing these warnings, let's put it that way. I will sometimes refer to that as yelling, even though it doesn't make a noise at all. It's not supposed to make a noise. Yeah, why not get some fuel? Okay, that should be enough copper for the moment. Definitely want more iron though. Yeah, let's make those and, I don't know, those. Okay, so first things first will be, probably want to start up here if possible. Yeah, So this offshore pump is not yelling that it needs power, because, as I said, they just don't require power. It's weird, but it's the way it is. Okay, we will then be pumping water. I'd like to give myself some space so I can walk through there. If I put down my boilers instantly, I could not be moving through anymore, because you can't run through these boilers, there's no space. Actually, you can apparently run through. Oh, never mind. Okay, I will also need 2 inserters and a bunch more of these, and also more iron. As I said, early game, iron is something you need a ton of. Okay, and you're out of fuel, so just get another stack. And also, not sure if you could just see that. That was my Steam overlay. Not sure if that gets recorded or not. Okay, and yeah, that. So I'll just put this down basically without explaining it, and then I'll explain it. When it's all working, and you can see what it is and what it does. It's not complicated or anything. Let's go like this. I don't have any means to really get rid of large amounts of trees yet, so just bear with me. These are just about not enough, but I'm producing more as soon as my electric poles are done. Currently I'm making the copper wire for that. And I'm also grabbing more iron again. Yay for iron. As I said, this will become obsolete quite quickly, because these automatic mining drills are much more convenient, and yeah, you'll see what I mean once we've okay, make these, and then we'll be fine. Okay, I also need to take these small electric poles. Again, these are just the starting stuff. This will all be upgraded soon. Okay. I will just plop this down for now, but I swear this episode you will get an explanation on how it all works and why I'm doing it. This and this. No, I should probably put you here. And you can go here. And then we definitely want power here as well. And you're linked up, that's nice. The symbol on these has now changed. Before it was the yellow flashing light, telling them that they had no network connected to them. Now they have a network, the network just has no power, which is why it's now a red symbol, because usually that is a more serious condition. Now I'm just running power lines up here. And now similarly these are yelling not about having no power, but about well, they yell about having no power instead of not being connected to power. And those are subtly different, as we'll eventually discover. Okay. Because right now I'm not producing any power, so it would be weird if they actually had any. But they are connected. Okay, so as soon as I'm producing power, the power will travel along these electric poles. There's no loss associated with this. It will travel forever as long as I've put down enough poles. Now the way I'm producing power is this water pump pumps water into these boilers, which take fuel, in my case coal, and heat up the water into steam, and then these steam engines convert that into electrical power. So I'll need to jumpstart the process. I will just give each of these a stack of coal. And now I'm producing power. Producing Currently 540-ish kilowatts. 538, I think it's rounded here. Something, anyway. And I'm consuming 538 from the electric mining drills and another 797 watts. These are watts, not kilowatts, from the two inserters. Inserters are generally negligible in terms of how much power they consume. What's important is that my coal is now coming down this belt because the electric mining drills now mine up the coal. This one won't be mining up very much because it's barely got coal in its area, but I just wanted the symmetry to look nice. I wanted it to look symmetrical. There we go. And the coal will travel down the line and reach the end. And the coal that I gave it to jumpstart it, basically, is now not an issue. I don't need to constantly refuel this because it will automatically get belted down here. And these inserters will automatically grab it once this has gone below a certain threshold, as you can see. I've now emptied it out, and the inserter is slowly putting new coal in there. I think up to 5. Yeah, 5. So as soon as this goes below 5, it'll put in a new one. But as long as it's 5 or more, it just doesn't bother because it doesn't fill it up. It keeps it going. That's how it works with inserters and fuel and similar other stuff as well. Really, inserters never fill up a machine to the maximum. They always fill it up to some point. It really depends on what kind of machine, but yeah, it just gives it some stuff. And now this is producing power. I'm consuming this top bar here is basically satisfaction. That one should always be full. If it's not full, that's bad. It being full means that I'm producing exactly as much power as I need. And the production should never be full. That would mean I'm maxing out my production. I'm using all the power I have. But that only happens if I'm actually consuming more than I'm producing. And right now, how much it's filled tells me that this green part, that's how much I'm consuming, and the whole bar represents how much I could be producing. So this is really comfortable. I could consume 6 times as much and I would still probably be overproducing by a little bit. So that's my initial stuff. And for next episode, I'll probably be upgrading my setups here and here, and yeah, they're all running out of fuel now. So I will be showing you an increased setup next time. That's sort of my plan, to show you some stuff in the episode and then also do some stuff in between episodes. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye!